Hey, I'm Natalie Potts, and this is the Natalie Potts podcast. If you want to talk about your business, your life, your health, and more, then you are in the right place. We do it all with humour, love, and inspiration to help you create a life you love. So, let's dive in. Today, I'm sharing all about the good, bad, and ugly of 2022. So, this is an exclusive addition to my podcast because I felt it was really relevant to make the point around the fact that life isn't always what it seems on the outside. And often what's going on the inside of a business or ourselves is completely different from what other people see. So I thought I'd share actually the great, not just the good, but the bad and the ugly, because it's really important to know that sometimes I get some feedback saying that it all looks great and perfect and ideal, and that makes people overwhelmed just in that. So I want to be really crystal clear that it's not, and that I'm no different to you. And I think that saying is really important, that I'm no different to you, because we all have the choice in life to go for what we want. Sometimes it doesn't feel that we all have the same choices, but there are certain times in life when we will have choices, and it's whether we take those or not. And I think that some lives are easier than others, and life isn't fair. And you've got to really dig deep and find out what certain things mean to you. And what I mean by that is, I really want you to really focus on reflecting on this year and asking yourself, do you really honestly know how you define happiness and success? And I've brought so many clients back to these two questions recently. And these are clients that are like incredibly successful, again, on the outside, sitting on a wealth of money, but they are seriously unhappy, like seriously unhappy. And we need to be asking ourselves more around this idea of defining success. We need to change the conversation on success. And that's almost another podcast in itself. But I really want you to think about, has 2022 really helped you move forward towards what you really want in life, to have like a life of true meaning? And I also share that because there's an amazing study done by Bronnie Ware, who's an Australian nurse, and she spent time with people in palliative care. And she simply asked them, what would be your regrets in life? And the number one regret in life was that people don't live a life of true meaning to themselves. And I see a world that's incredibly uncertain. We see a world that's full of fear, that's full of people that don't want to take risks or do what they really love because there's too much self-doubt, fear, and lack of belief around that. And that's really sad. It's really sad. And nobody deserves not to have a life that feels of meaning to them. So I want to help you in that. So I'm going to share and spin it a little bit. Let's have a little bit more upbeat around here. But I really want to share about the great, first of all, the great of 2022, because it's always good to start off with something that's empowering. And my greats are, I'm going to summarize each area with 3 points because it's a power of 3, that I took big, I was going to say big F off, but I'm conscious of swearing. I took big freaking risks, is what I'll say. And they paid off. And I invested in myself and my business, and it was bloody scary. So the self-awareness that I have from that, which is my second point, is that I know I've got to trust myself, my intuition. And I've surrounded myself in that investment with connecting some incredible people that are where I want to be, that have got, I hate drawing on the money, but they are very established 6-7 figure business owners, even 8-figure own business owners. And the reason I share that is because when you surround yourself with people where you want to be, you feel inspired, you're motivated, you're educated, you learn quicker, you move forward quicker, you have the right guidance in the decisions that you make. And they are people that can really counsel you and listen to you because they've got more experience often, is what I've recognised. And they're honest. There's no BS because they haven't got time for it. And I love that. I need that more in my world. So through the investment, I've been able to make some amazing connections. And this I've then found is where I have the space to be creative. And when I'm creative, that's when I'm the best in my business. So my invite to you is to think about, where have you taken big risks this year? And where are you really focusing on your development and your self-awareness? Because there is no self-development without self-awareness. So I really want you to tap into that. And I've been consistent. When I ask people for feedback on how I'm showing up, what they notice about what I do, what they like about what I do, what have been their learnings and their experience whilst working with me, consistency is always there. And I love it, because consistency is really freaking hard. And I am consistent, and I know I am, and it's a real strength of mine. And I'm not gonna pussyfoot around the fact that, oh, be all modest. Like, I am very good at being consistent. I've set up a system around myself where I manage myself very well. I'm effective with time. I maximize opportunities, but I'll come on to that. And I've really looked at how I can get rid of the tasks that are £10 and draining me of my time. So I've got some amazing coaches and mentors, and one of my coaches every week asks me the same questions to fill out on a weekly report. One of them is around what is draining me of my energy, and the other one is about where am I at my best energy-wise. Those two questions have to be the most powerful questions I ask myself every single week. So I get the opportunity to reflect on myself every single week and look at what I'm doing really well and what I've learned from the week before and what I need to then change. I'm constantly in a cycle of improvement, and I love that. So I want you to really think about, when I shared all those three there, what are the great things that happened for you in 2022? So the bad, the great, the bad, the ugly. So I definitely didn't use my network of connections enough in terms of collaborations. And I was asked recently on a coaching conversations with the Coaching Academy, because I mentor for them, what was your podium moment of 2022? This was asked by the CEO, Bev James. And I shared that mine was taking my personal development circle, and I took them for a big social. And that moment at the beginning of December was me achieving a big goal and vision I had earlier in the year. One where I had no idea how I was going to do it. I just saw myself with a bunch of people, amazing bunch of people that were inspired, that were there, that were wanting to just talk life and everything, not even business, but just come together from completely different worlds and share experiences and have fun. Because business can be lonely, it can be dull, it can be boring, and it can be a scary place. It isn't all lovely. It's not what we see. It's not the smokes and mirrors that we see. And I really argue this fact with the coaching industry, is it looks lovely. When I decided to leave my career, which is probably another win I should have shared, but actually I focused more on my business since, because that's been more important to me. But I left my corporate career of 19 years on April the 7th, 2022. And I think that was, in a way, it was ugly. It was hard. It was really, really hard to do that transition. And I almost, to be fair, in hindsight, I don't know I would have changed much, but I couldn't prep for it in a way. And I don't know how I would make it any better now. It just was one of those things that actually I don't even care to think about now, because it's done. And I think we need to let more go in life as well and not get attached to things. I want my energy and everything to be in what I'm doing right now, because that's what I can control. I can't control the things that have happened in the past, and those things don't define me. So talking about the bad here, it's about, I didn't collaborate with enough of the people in this network that I've got earlier on to build the relationship. And I talk very much about business foundations, and building relationships with people is really important. And I think, in all honesty, the reason I didn't do that is because I feared judgment, that I wasn't good enough. And that's just, again, it's BS. Like, I need to pull myself more on my narrative. I certainly didn't switch off enough, and I became knackered at points. So what I noticed is that when I was doing long journeys of work, or I was doing some other work of where I have different avenues of income coming into my life, that I would be absolutely knackered because of the long journeys, the long days, then the thoughts of I've still got to do my business in the evening or something like that, or get up early in the morning to do bits. So I very much know that my learning from that is I need to be kinder to myself. which my coach tells me a lot. I need to switch off the next day and not have anything planned in, and that's okay. Or at least have the morning to get more sleep, because sleep is so important and that's when we recover. And I also think I need to focus on just giving myself time and space to think and reflect and just be bored, almost do nothing. That was really challenging back in March when I was doing some therapy, and she asked me, are you ever just bored? And I was like, no. And I really, really struggled with that. We spoke about it in real depth about just what does bored mean to Natalie. And I've noticed that I can give myself permission to switch off. And where I say I want you to flip that and think about, what does that mean for you? What is your learning from what I'm sharing? And how could this be relevant to you right now? And I think my final third point around the bad was that I'm so tough on myself. I said to my coach a few months back that I'm not good enough and I fear success. And again, I can unpack those in a whole other episode as well, about not being good enough, not having enough experience, knowledge. People, are they really connecting with me, and what else can I do? And just never feeling that things are like I'm always the next thing. And I hate that. I just want to very much be about calm and being in the moment and the present. But what I know from these are that there's a learning from every single thing I'm sharing with you here. And I know next year I want to focus on giving myself permission to switch off, knowing it's okay to have the weekends off. Like, the weekends are the weekends. They're my time. They're the time when I get to make memories and see my friends and family. And that's why I do what I do. I'm creating time freedom in my life. That's my biggest goal. So I can have more experiences with my friends and family and live a life that's true to me. So I need to have that time where I can then be creative and can come back and be at my best when I'm in my business. The argument is that our productivity is not attached, or our self-worth is not attached to our productivity. And I sometimes think we can get that the other way around, and that's a risk. So next year, I'm not going to fear this idea of success, in that, like in my previous career, I got to, again, what on the outside looked successful and like she's made it, and felt the worst I've ever felt in my life and the lowest point. And don't get me wrong, I know my rock bottom last year was certainly not what some people experience in life by any imagination, or, it's not at all. But it was enough for me. It was my rock bottom to go, enough's enough. I need to change things. So I know that I need to let go of that fear of success, because I'm creating something that's all from me. Everything that I put into it is what I get out from it. And I know the direction I want to take it. And I've got my vision. So what am I fearing about that? The ugly, it's just little things, really. It was things like the quality of my work. I'm very much about done is better than perfect, but I think I've gone almost the other way with that. And I've noticed sometimes my work is not slick as I'd like it to be. So there's a few spelling mistakes in things. And I've been pulled on it a few times. And in fairness to myself, and I do think this is fair, I did challenge back to these people. One, and said, but you've been talking about getting your business off the ground for the last 3 months, and then you want to tell me about my grammar in an email. And the other one was around somebody who shared that a post had a spelling wrong, but they sent that with a message that had spelling wrong in their own message. So I was kind of confused about the point they were addressing for me, and how I didn't really get how I was supposed to take it. So again, I didn't overthink it. I just let it go and said, cool, thanks, I've got bigger fish to fry, but appreciate your time. So I think on the whole, though, on reflection, I do want to be a bit more slick. I want it to be that it shows that I do take care in the little detail too. I used to work in retail. I'd go around going, retail is detail. So maybe I need to listen to my own advice and slow things down to speed up is the learning. That's probably what I'm saying is my learning from this. And that's a great thing to share. Not managing cash flow at times was a challenge and scary, and it brought on a lot of stress that I just didn't need. And it actually took seeing somebody talk about cash flow that got me to a point where I was like, yeah, probably need to focus on that a bit more and take it a bit seriously. And I think that I was talking to my dad, and he's such a wise counsel for me. He's like the best mentor I've ever had for advice. And my dad always shares that the decisions that you make, you've got to live with the consequences. So can you live with those, with the actions that you take and what you do? And to be fair, he says it a lot more conversational and just cooler than I do there. I make it sound really rigid and corporate, which is something I'm working on, trust me. But after 19 years in corporate, it's not that easy to just switch from such conformity in your behavior. But I definitely want to think about how I really manage my cash flow better. I'm good with accounts and things, and knowing where things are, and I just want to take that the next step onwards. And I think that's just maybe a skill and an awareness as well. And in planning it in, it's no more. There's no more depth to it than that. It's quite surface level, but it's the practicality of saying, "Hey, girl, you got to focus on that crap and get it sorted." So that's what I'll be doing. And the biggest ugly for me was I did not manage boundaries enough. Like I learned the hard way with this. My coach was amazing and sent me a book about setting boundaries and finding peace. And it was actually really useful because I had to really challenge about what I'd accepted and allowed as well. And, any problem that's in your business it's a leadership problem, is what I've learned from previously managing teams. But that's on me. That's a problem I've created. So I had to really look in the mirror and say, like, Natalie, what have you allowed there and attracted and brought into your world that you need to change? And what does that change look like? I'll give you an example. So I would have clients messaging me on different apps, or maybe sometimes my WhatsApp, and it wasn't right. Like I wasn't able to switch off easily in the times when I was switching off. So since then I've learned the boundaries on that, and what that means to people, and what that can look like to move forward, because it's also the world we're in, that we know we need to be there for people. And I think it's just that sometimes, as well as, and specifically in coaching, we feel that we need to always give more, and we don't. We've got to actually put ourselves first in terms of self-care and what we need in order to be able to help others. It's that idea of putting your own oxygen mask on. I definitely learned boundaries. And I think in life as well, that I don't have to be there for everybody. I don't have to say yes to everything. Saying no is really important. So I think there was loads for me to explore, not only in business, but personally too. So going forward, I want you to know that all of these, what we see as failings, are what lead you to success. And I call them like my little failing milestones. And that no success comes from just wins. We've got to get things wrong and go through tough times and experiences where we sometimes feel like we go back to move forward. We're going to get off track. But I want you to think about what you need to do to get back on track sooner rather than later. There's a difference there. And sometimes there's some comfort in knowing that shit's going to happen. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really dark at times and lonely. But you've got to know what you need to come back and be at your best. So I really want you to think about all of these in a way that's forward facing and going to help you in 2023, and know that nobody's perfect. Nobody's got their shit all sorted. Okay. I want you to think about your lessons and take some time out to reflect. Grab that journal, do a meditation, get some space and time to think. We are constantly bombarded by distractions in this crazy world that we're in right now. And the reality is, it's also a world full of opportunity. It's just the way you choose to see it. Change the way you see things, and the things that you look at change. An amazing quote by Wayne Dyer. So my invite to you here is to be all in for 2023. Be positive, be focused, be consistent, be big in your dreams, bigger than ever. Expand your vision, bigger than ever before. Say it out loud so you think that goal sounds shit scary, because that's what I did. And that's where I was like, I need to go and do this. Trust that inner feeling, that gut instinct that you've got more, and go with your intuition. Trust it, honestly. That niggling feeling you got deep inside. So be big about what you want, your goals, your vision, everything. Connect with more people. Be around people that inspire you, that motivate you. They are out there. You've just got to find them. I promise that to you. So I'd love to hear your lessons. Share and tag me in any, and share this with a friend if you think it's been helpful. It's always good to learn from others, and I would love to hear from you as well around what yours have been in, and just get in a conversation, the art of the possible. Like I said, there's so much opportunity in 2023, and I want you to have that. I want you to see that there is and know that and go for it. So if you would like to work with me in 2023, I'm currently running an offer that is exclusive to you. So you're going to have a little code here to share with me. And I want you to share bonus 500, which gets you £500 off of any program until the 30th of December. So if that is for you, you've got till the 30th of December to send me a DM or contact me in any way you see fit. I'm kind of not putting the boundaries in there though, am I? But I learn a hard way and I'm not perfect. So look, please just get out and contact me, and whatever you do, just know that there are people out there that can really help you. And if you're going through a tough time, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. Okay. So know that there is something you can offer this world, and you have a gift that no one else has, okay? And I really want you to want more from this world, your world, in 2023.